Welcome to Wrestling's Rock Bottom, a series where I will review every single Raw, SmackDown, and pay-per-view of what could be the worst era of WWE TV. Now you may be asking yourself, Evan, why are you subjecting yourself to this kind of torture? Well, you see, I actually got into wrestling in WWE during this time frame. So not only is it a method of looking back to see where I was at that time, but also seeing how bad it was when I got into it, and maybe how better it has been now. But now let's start at the beginning of the series, the Raw after WrestleMania on April 3rd, 2017. We start off the episode with a vignette highlighting Roman Reigns versus The Undertaker. And by vignette, I mean a slideshow showing off some quote-unquote moments of the match. The first thing I noticed when watching this is that Jim Ross had returned. Well, this would turn out to be his first appearance back with WWE, and he would even sign a 2-year contract, appearing now and then under commentary for them. And while this was pretty much a normal vignette, there was a weird, eerie music, which is odd considering how emotional this moment is for a lot of people, considering it is his quote-unquote retirement and last match at the time. And when I say retired, I mean he is definitely never, ever going to have another match again. And we will definitely not see any more of The Undertaker in the next few years. After the vignette, we get shots of the crowd chanting Undertaker, supporting him at what could be his last match. And I think my biggest problem with this night of wrestling is the pacing of this episode. There are some moments when it feels like segments run too long, and some moments when it feels like segments should go longer. This being a case in point. When they go over to the crowd, it seems like 4 to 5 minutes of straight up them chanting Undertaker before the next segment happens. And the next segment, which happens to be a Roman Reigns promo, also lasts equally, if not more, in length. Now back on the subject of the big dog himself, Roman Reigns, and you gotta keep in mind, this isn't the tribal chief we know today. This is not gonna have great segments with the rest of the bloodline Roman Reigns. No, this is the big dog Roman Reigns. The guy that barely cuts promos Roman Reigns. The guy that is constantly booed Roman Reigns. So what can you expect other than him immediately coming out and getting booed heavily? Which is somewhat understandable. Heck, people at the time thought Roman could be turning heel because he just retired The Undertaker. And with one simple line, it pretty much hints at that. It is my yard now. Except, it would be a lot more effective if it were for the fact that Roman was playing the crowd for 5 more minutes. So it was 4 minutes of silence after the entrance and 1 line of promo before we go on to the next segment. Good God. Afterwards, we get to see our commentary team for tonight. This being Michael Cole, as always, Byron Saxton, and Corey Graves. And they're already warning about the chaotic nature of a Raw after WrestleMania, and how reactions may be weirder than what you may see on a normal episode. Hint, hint, wink, wink. Next up is the Good Brothers versus the Hardys for the Raw Tag Team Championships. The Hardys just coming back from a huge return at WrestleMania, to which they were gone for ROH and Impact for a time, reinventing themselves as Brother Nero and Broken Matt Hardy. We get slight version of Broken Matt Hardy here. After a slideshow vignette showing off the Hardys' grand win at WrestleMania, we get them big entrances, huge pop, pyro for the Hardys, and even a bash at Cole by Corey Graves, as was the thing at the time. We then got our first big sponsorship for this Raw, Tap Out and JCPenney's. What happens next is actually a pretty decent tag match, all things considered. We see the Matt Hardy buckle spot, except Anderson sends himself into the buckle a couple times, which is hilarious. A side effect pretty early on in the match, a twist of fate reversed by Anderson, and then the Hardys send the Good Brothers to the outside for a commercial break. count how many times this happens throughout the series, because I will tell you, it will happen a lot of times. We're back from commercial break, and Gallows and Anderson are beating up Matt. We see a backdrop into neckbreaker combo by them, and normal heel shenanigans like pissing Jeff off to distract the ref, leading to offense by an illegal member. Anderson throws a knee in the corner to Matt, and a great looking big boot by Gallows to Matt, and then a hot tag to Jeff. Normal hot tag sequence to Gallows, and then Jeff Hardy jumps off stairs on the outside to clothesline Gallows. Wow, what a spot. Gallows and Anderson then hit a sick kick into flatliner combo, which they deem the Boot of Doom. There was also a neat twist of hate and leg drop combo by Jeff onto Gallows and Anderson both, leading into an extreme combo by Jeff and Matt onto Gallows for the win. All things considered, for the first match in the series, this isn't a bad way to start. It can only get better from here, right? Right? Next up, we have the vignette slideshow for Triple H versus Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. This is just a play-by-play of what happened. There's nothing else to note. Next up is Neville coming out for a promo, and seeing Neville look and act like current day Pac is very cursed. We see another vignette slideshow for Aries versus Neville at WrestleMania, and now there's a cruiserweight ring mat and graphics across the arena. This was another thing that was happening during this era of wrestling, where the cruiserweight division had their own graphics and design in Raw. Neville cuts a standard "I defeated my challenger" promo, and Mustafa Ali interrupts the promo, starting off a match between Ali and Neville. We get a spin kick to Neville on the apron. Ali does a moonsault to the outside onto Neville from the second rope. A huge pop-up to Ali from Neville in the ring, and the audience sadly does not care, as they care more about a beach ball in the audience. The cruiserweight division in WWE was never treated with a lot of respect, and this shows definitely in the audience. We get some more interesting offense with a rolling neckbreaker to Neville from Ali, a snap German to Ali from Neville, and then a huge clothesline to Ali. However, the audience still cares more about a beach ball than not watching this match, as well as chants of Beach Ball Mania. God, I hate this. We get a Spanish fly from the top rope to Neville from Ali. The crowd popped, but then went back to beach ball chants, and the commentary is now bringing the beach ball stuff up. Great. That isn't a good thing, commentary. Don't bring this up. We get a Poison Rana and a satellite DDT to Neville into a rope break, and then Ali tries for the inverted 450, misses it. So Neville goes up to the top rope looking for Red Arrow, and doesn't give the crowd what they want into the Brutalizer for the Ali tap out. With how decent that match actually was, the crowd was the biggest negative of that entire thing, ruining that match for me. But hey, we're at the start of the show. Nothing can get worse from here. Oh no. Oh, Vince McMahon. Oh God. I'll keep this brief considering the Vince McMahon stuff. We get an announcement regarding the Superstar shakeup next week. Stephanie McMahon is out of action after the table bump, which gets a huge pop from the crowd. And Vince says that he's bringing a new general manager to Monday Night Raw, to which Teddy Long appears and dances like crazy. And Vince hates his dancing so much. I mean, look at that. Look at the moves. Look at those moves. I mean, they're distracting, yes. I wouldn't say they're bad personally, but just look at the moves. Anyway, it turns out Teddy Long isn't the general manager of Raw. It's actually Kurt Angle, after his appearance at Hall of Fame of this year. And he is now the new general manager of Monday Night Raw. And boy, is Kurt nervous. I mean, just look at how much sweat is on his back as he's coming out into the ring. He's sweating through a suit. Kurt cuts a small promo basically saying how great it is to be on Raw, and it's true. It's damn true. Next, we have another slideshow vignette of Owens versus Jericho for the US title. And then the New Day come out with a Booty-O cart and Legion of Doom inspired gear, which Corey calls it the Legion of Dumb. Thank you, Corey Graves. Big E mentions how excited WrestleMania was and talks about how the blood rushed from his head to his penis, without saying penis. Kofi then talks about how fun it was to host, but now it's time to fight in the ring, and issues an open challenge to the locker room, to which the Revival comes out to accept, marking the team's first main roster showing. We get to see some great fast-paced action between the Revival and Woods and Big E. The Revival is targeting Woods' left arm throughout the match, a missile dropkick to Dash by Woods, and then Big E tags in, attacks Dawson with 3 belly-to-bellies consecutively. Dawson dodges the apron spear by Big E, sending Big E violently to the outside. A flurry of strikes by Woods to the Revival, and then Woods tries the rolling clothesline and gets sent into the Shatter Machine for the win. After the match, the Revival beat up Kofi and drop a knee on Kofi's ankle. Backstage, we see Angle, Enzo, and Cass talking to each other. Enzo does his catchphrase to Angle, bada bing, bada boom, realest guys in the room, how you doing? Enzo and Cass wants the tag belts. Enzo questions a lot of things. Why he doesn't have a belt, why the Hardys got a belt, why Goofy is a human and Pluto is a dog. Okay. Angle then announces that the Bar will face Enzo and Cass to determine the #1 contendership for the Raw Tag Team Championship. And Cass mentions sending the Bar to Disney World afterwards. Cass then spells out soft, and Angle then says as they leave that, wait, that isn't how that word is spelled. And the segment comes to an end. Next, we get the women's segment of the night, with Bayley appearing with the Raw Women's Championship as a huge babyface loved by the fans. Huge pop for her. And you can also win a trip with Enzo and Cass to Universal Studios. Cool. What follows is a 6-man tag with Bayley, Sasha, and Dana Brooke in one corner, and Emma, Nia Jax, and Charlotte Flair in the other. And Bayley is the most over person in this match, which makes what happens in this match really baffling and probably elevates the issue with the women's division during this era. To begin this match, Emma tags herself in against Dana Brooke. Bayley tags in after Emma points to her, and Emma's gimmick during this time is it's all about her, and that's pretty much it. Bayley starts rolling around Emma's back for offense. I don't know what I saw. You have to see it too. Look at it. I can't explain what this does to anything or anyone. Emma starts pulling Bayley's ponytail on the outside of the ring from the Tree of Woe position, and Bayley is getting beat up for a majority of this match, and that is my biggest problem with this match. Is Bayley is your Raw Women's Champion, and she is getting beat up the most out of anyone in this match. Bayley throws Flair to the outside, leading to Flair pulling Banks off the apron, but Bayley manages to tag Banks in, leading to a big Banks comeback. Banks throws a Meteora in the middle rope, Emma stops the pin, Nia Jax gets taken out by Brooke and Banks, and then Nia Jax takes out Brooke, Bayley takes out Jax, Banks reverses the natural selection into the Banks statement, leading to Flair tapping out. I honestly don't understand why you would have your champion be the one beaten up, whereas Sasha gets the winning pin. After the match, Flair gets pissed off at Nia Jax for her losing, leading to Jax beating Flair up after the match. We then go backstage and see Sami Zayn talking with Angle. Angle talks about how Zayn has the 3 eyes in wrestling. And then Mahal appears, mad about getting eliminated by Gronk. Sami Zayn and Jinder Mahal argue, leading to a match later tonight. We then get an announcement saying WrestleMania set a record in Citrus Bowl. And then Brock Lesnar appears with Paul Heyman. During this time period, Lesnar is over, which I am curious to see how much longer this lasts. Heyman talks about a bedtime story which is about Goldberg, how Goldberg is a superhero that got his ass beat by the Beast at the ultimate thrill ride, which they keep pushing, and I cannot tell if this was a failed catchphrase or just because of the fact that there were roller coasters across the design of WrestleMania. No idea. Heyman then starts talking about how they're looking for the next challenger to step up to the Beast, and the crowd starts chanting for Finn, to which Heyman doesn't mention him at all, mentioning instead Seth Rollins or Jeff and Matt Hardy, and then talks about Roman Reigns defeating The Undertaker, to which the crowd start booing immensely because no one wants to see Roman versus Brock in this day and age. They call out Roman, to which Braun Strowman appears, and Strowman wants a shot at the belt. The crowd starts really getting behind Strowman as a character that could face Brock, except he walks away from the challenge and says he'll do it on his time, not on Brock's time. We then see Charlie Caruso backstage with Chris Jericho, and Jericho talks about the beach balls to a huge pop. Maybe let's not bring that up, even if it is a cheap pop. He mentions how Kevin Owens survived by the hair on his chinny chin chin in regards to the tip of Kevin's finger touching the bottom rope. And the tip of Kevin's finger is on the list of Jericho. Kevin then attacks Jericho backstage, and Samoa Joe joins the attack on Jericho, powerbombing him into a table backstage. After commercial break, we see Angle exiting out of the trainer room, talking to Rollins about how Jericho is in no condition to compete, and how he will find a partner for Rollins for the main event later. Next up is Enzo and Cass versus The Bar for the #1 contendership for the Raw Tag Team Championship. And by God, is Sheamus banged up still after the ladder match. Holy cow, is he bruised. Sheamus and Cesaro are also super over as a team, and Sheamus has some weird offense for this match, which is a bit understandable considering how banged up he is. Sheamus does a weird back kick to Cass in the corner. Sheamus almost slips on the top rope. Cass launches Enzo into Cesaro and Sheamus, and then both at the same time over the top rope. And Raw will roll on after this for another commercial break, of course. You can really tell when a commercial break is about to happen when a team or wrestler is sent to the outside of the ring. Cesaro is having a blast dancing to crowd songs, and Corey Graves is saying how this crowd is Bizarro Land. Another mention to how this crowd's reactions are going to be weird. Cesaro has the giant swing hooked in, and there's a huge pop for it, and then Cesaro locks in the sharpshooter to get booted by Cass. Sheamus bro kicks Cass and launches Enzo off the top into an uppercut, and The Bar are the new #1 contenders for the Raw Tag Team Championships. Cesaro and Sheamus start dancing along to the crowd song, and we get our first ad for Wrestlemania in New Orleans. I hope it's good and doesn't have a bad main event. Also, by this point, I have heard the Pitbull song for Wrestlemania so many times that I have grown sick and tired of hearing it. Now we have Jinder Mahal versus Sami Zayn. We get a vignette slideshow showing the Gronk taking out Jinder Mahal in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. And Sami Zayn is being called a kiss ass by Corey Graves. Great. Jinder Mahal attacks Zayn before the bell, and Zayn is the underdog as the bell rings. They're talking about everything other than the match, the shakeup, Angle being GM, and then Sami hits a exploder in the corner to Jinder Mahal and a haluva kick for the win. This really didn't need to be a match at all. And then for the main event, Kevin Owens and Samoa Joe versus Seth Rollins and the mystery partner. Everyone's doing their entrances, and the first thing I noticed is how weird it is hearing Seth's theme without Burn It Down in it. It feels weirdly empty. The crowd is chanting for Finn, and Finn is the mystery replacement. And surprisingly, there's no commentary for Finn's entrance until the end-ish. And then we get the craziest zoom on Finn's face I may have ever seen. Look at how close it is. That is way too close. Joe and Owens start beating up Rollins. Rollins sends Owens headfirst into the second buckle. Balor gets tagged in, leading to a face-to-face with Owens. Balor chases Owens outside the ring and drop-kicking him. Rollins suicide dives on Owens. Rollins does another dive on Owens and Joe, but he's holding his knee now. Joe is beating up on Rollins now. Owens mocks Balor's too sweet symbol, pissing him off. A big senton to Rollins by Owens, and Joe is targeting the bad knee of Rollins. Samoa Joe then pile drives Rollins' knee in a weird forgotten move. The crowd has officially stopped caring, though, at the end of the match, now doing the wave. I hate this crowd. Rollins breaks the coquina clutch into the ropes, leading to a Balor hot tag. Balor kicks Samoa Joe on the apron. Owens grabs Balor and air raid crashes him. Sling blade by Balor. Joe grabs Balor into the coquina clutch. Rollins springboard clotheslines Joe. Owens super kicks Rollins, and Balor drop kicks Owens into the turnbuckle. Balor then goes up top for the stomp and wins. And that's the end of the show for tonight. So for the first episode of Monday Night Raw that I will review, how was it? It wasn't bad. Like I said, it definitely has some pacing issues. It felt like some of the promo segments lasted too long, and there were definitely some matches that didn't need to be there. But overall, for a first episode, and what is to come potentially, this isn't that bad. So thank you for joining me on the first episode of Wrestling's Rock Bottom, and I hope to see you around for the next one.